Hello everyone, I'm Matt Mitrovich, the alternate historian. Today we're going to talk about what some consider the granddaddy of all what-ifs. I am of course talking about the No Hitler trope. No Hitler is the alternate history trope where Adolf Hitler, the Nazi dictator of World War II era Germany, either doesn't come to power or else dies at a very young age. Alternate historians who use this trope are usually trying to create a better world by removing Hitler from history. Listen, I don't condone what Hitler and the Nazis did, but just getting rid of one megalomaniac from history wouldn't necessarily create a better world. Well, many historians believe that history is decided by intangible forces like economics rather than individual human choice. They would argue that even without a Hitler, a Germany that lost World War I and was suffering through the Great Depression would still have all the ingredients that would allow a Hitler to arise. Thus, history will play out just as we know it, even if the names are changed. Fine. Let's assume no Hitler equals no World War II and no Holocaust. Okay, but that still doesn't guarantee a better world. Yeah, guess what? Hitler didn't invent anti-Semitism. Europe was full of it before he came to power. And in fact, if you want an example of a Western democracy persecuting Jews, go look up the Dreyfus Affair in France. On top of that, as bad as the Holocaust was, the horrors that people witnessed led them to embrace the idea of human rights. And without human rights, you wouldn't have such events like decolonization or the American Civil Rights Movement. As bad as everything that happened in our history, it led to some good changes. And if we started changing those kind of things, we could risk removing those events from history and just thus leaving us with a history that is less socially advanced than it is today. I find that in many ways, human history is the sum of all the good and bad that has happened to us and has been done by us. If you try to change history, if you try to take out some of the bad, you could risk creating a worse present than the one we know now. I admit I could easily be wrong about my earlier predictions. That being said, alternate historians need to be mindful about what they change. They have to accept what is likely to happen and not ignore it for what they want to happen. Definitely cliche. The no Hitler trope has been done so many times by so many professional writers and fans that it's really getting old. On the Alternate History Facebook group I administer, I would argue that at least once a month a new member will show up and ask the question about what if Hitler was never born or what if he just never got into politics, and they'll treat it as one of the most profound questions that's never been asked before until they came along. Again, stop doing it. It's been done to death by several different people in several different mediums. I personally would rather see stories about people, whether they be famous or infamous, living longer lives. What if someone who already had power held on to a little bit longer? What would they have done differently, and how would the world be changed by it? I would rather see more stories like that, and I think there's many people who would agree with me. Let me say again that I don't condone what Hitler or the Nazis did. If I were sent back in time to the 1930s or earlier, I would probably try and stop them, or at the very least try to save as many lives as I could. I may sound like a cold-hearted bastard when I'm sitting here in my desk chair, armchairing alternate history, but in reality, I care about human life just as much as you guys do. That being said, I'm Matt Mitrovich, the alternate historian. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye. Hey guys, Matt Mitrovich here. If you like my videos, don't forget to support me on Patreon. I'll have a link in the bottom in the show notes. Additionally, if you want to see a good no Hitler story, check out Johnny Pez's The Drowned Baby Timeline. I also have a link to the story. It's really funny, it's really entertaining, it's a great read, but it was one of the first online alternate histories I ever read to its completion. So go check it out. I highly recommend it. Thanks.